Helping families grow and protect their wealth. This is the Michael Wall Show on Talk Radio 98.5 WRTA.
All right, here we are back in the Michael Wall Show, and we're joined live in studio with someone you may know. Jamie Dukes is his name. We're having fun talking about a lot of different things, but before we get into all of those different things we're already talking about, Jamie, thanks so much for joining us.
Good to be here. Thank you, Michael, for having us.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I know a lot of people, in life, they're always looking for where they want to be, where they're supposed to be. If you've listened to the show before, you know that we always talk about the whole idea of living with purpose so you can live on purpose. Very, very important. So what does it look like, and how do you get to that place to find, and how do you redefine purpose as you move along in life? And Jamie, I know you started out and you played football for 365 years.
Well, something like that. Played 10 years in the National Football League, 8 with the Atlanta Falcons. Didn't win a lot there. Had a great opportunity to go.
Got a nice stadium now.
Yeah, but I didn't play in that. I played in the old Fulton County Stadium where it was just dirt, and the baseball players were there, and so you had the clay, and so you had to wash out of the jockstrap all the
very
clay.
Very nice.
A little visual for the show. I apologize.
No, it's important.
That.
Yeah,
and then one in Arizona.
Keep it fresh.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I should be in the Hall of Fame, by the way.
Right.
That I'm not, because I was the guy that retired Jerry Glanville and Buddy Ryan from the NFL. No other player can say they ridded the National Football League of maybe 2 of their bigger menaces at the time. But that quite still hadn't, the Hall of Fame committee still hadn't quite got there.
The jury's still out on that one. Yeah. You might have to send some flowers or something. That would be helpful.
That would be helpful.
So tell me this.
Yes.
How did you get into football?
Well, I'm a basketball player in the body.
Okay.
Inside. But, as I got older, I didn't see any 6 foot, 280-pound point guards in the NBA. So it was like, Dukes, maybe you ought to focus on that little football thing that you're doing so you can get a scholarship, get an education, so on and so forth. Attended Florida State University. That's my alma mater. And so from there, I went to Atlanta.
Okay, so just one thing led to another, and here you are.
Yes. But you know how it is.
Yeah.
It's that, that matriculation down. You don't know where the Lord's going to lead you, but you're just trying to follow that path, and you're trying not to screw up along the way of you trying to follow that path.
So as you're done with the league and you're kind of trying to find your purpose, you're doing some media, you're commentating, you're sharing in a lot of different venues, and now you're moving into the place, and I know we met because of this whole opioid crisis is a big problem. And you guys are in a place where you're saying, I kind of want to move to another position where we're really doing some real good in the world, not just in the community, not just in the neighborhood, but in the world. This is a serious problem that you've moved to. What are some things that kind of opened your eyes up to the reality of why this has become such a big issue?
Well, it kind of starts with, so one thing, and it's just like you. Okay, so incredibly successful entrepreneur, but what your mission is people, helping people, and you serve. And so you're rewarded, not that you ask for it, but I believe, reward that you received as many others is because you've been focused not on the making money part of it, but how you could help others change their life in the area where you were called to be of service.
Yep.
That's in financial. We got called in from the standpoint of we were looking at working with health. Put Up Your Dukes Foundation is a foundation we established in 2008 or 9, been around for a long time. We did a lot of community things. One of my board of directors members, a gentleman by the name of Dr. Jared Huey. Long story short, he's an anesthesiologist by trade, developed, and we're looking at getting into treating depression in his business, and mentioned anecdotally as we were just having dinner, there were some people that were dealing with severe depression that were concussed due to car accidents. And so that's really what kind of got my attention. Where this started was in the area of concussion. But as you can imagine, it's a very dicey thing. As a former NFL player, the NFL very concerned about the concussions, but very afraid to do anything about it because, and we talk about too big to fail. You hear that all the time. The NFL's too big to move because they have to be right before they make a final decision. And they'll take all the grief, Tom Brady, Ray Rice, they'll take all the grief before they try to make an official move. So long story short was that is kind of how this path started. And then we realized in the development of other developing formulations that we were sitting here over in the corner with the solution, and I'm saying the prevention solution to the opioid epidemic. 117 people are dying every single day. On the fiscal side of things, how about this? The CDC put out last year that in 2016, the U.S. economy, opioids cost the U.S. economy $500 billion.
Wow.
Just the epidemic, because it's jobs lost. How many kids who had a little problem, an injury or situation, and all of a sudden they could not go back to work because they went through their MRA, but their history is here. So there's a tremendous impact of this epidemic on our economy.
Do you feel like there was anything of this kind of stature, nature, or size, so to speak, that we're facing today?
In professional sports, and particularly the NFL, where I come from, the main issue is obesity in the National Football League, because in the realities are people want to talk about concussion, and certainly those are serious, and CTE and all those things that come from that. But the reality is the linemen were dying. And so our foundation lobbied to bring bariatric solutions to the NFL. But where we stand now, and think about this, concussion has been talked about, concussion is being worked on, but the realities are there's still issues with concussion, but these professional sports league, and I'm going to say more the NFL and probably maybe hockey from that standpoint, there still is an issue with opioids that nobody wants to talk about. And it's not that, just think about it. By nature of what these people do every day, they are in pain. They are requiring to be prescribed something. And the problem is there are so many innocent people, and many of these people are innocent car accidents, some type of crises, and to deal with the pain from that crises, they were prescribed an opiate, and they unfortunately were getting hooked.
They're really looking for a solution.
Absolutely.
They don't want to get hooked on something.
Yes.
They're not going out trying to find a drug.
Yes.
They're just saying, I want fixed.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, well, because you break an arm, you need pain management.
Right.
I mean, that's just standard. And unfortunately, because see, I'm not an opioid basher. And I need people to hear that there is a place for opioids. The problem is that the people were prescribed it. Probably 70% of the people did not need it. But they did need something stronger than a Tylenol. I'm not one to bash the opioid manufacturers. I'm not getting into what practices are and pills and all that. What I do know on the merits of an opiate is that it was strong enough to provide the pain satiety that people need. Now, that being said, we found ourselves in an epidemic situation. Right. And so what do we do with any epidemic? We look for solutions. And that's kind of what we have is the prevention solution for the opioid epidemic.
So tell us a little bit about Pro-IV.
If a person was hurt in any kind of situation, if they were given our treatment in lieu of an opiate, there is a 0.0% chance they're going to get hooked on an opiate. And so the key part of that is what we do with everything else, it's about prevention. So this, without question, is the solution that's here, that's been around for a couple of years, but the facts are it is here, it is covered by all the major carriers. That is a prevention solution. Micronutrients, trace minerals, vitamins. So you always wonder, well, why am I taking vitamins? Now this science is showing why we're taking it, but we're also merging low-dose synthetic drugs in microscopic dosages, merging them all together, drip fusion, merging them all together to yield us a non-opioid, non-steroid, non-addictive, and 97% all-natural treatment for opioid problems or pain.
Wow. So this is revolutionary in a lot of ways, and there's really nothing like this that's on the marketplace.
No. This is the only solution of its kind that is ready for the marketplace. And so I will tell you that the treatment is administered via IV. So is it a treatment that is administered intravenously? And the beauty of that is that, think about it, in 19 seconds, we've gone through your whole body. And so that's what allows us to put minimum impact on the body. Better way of saying it is, whatever the pain thing might be, we would eliminate the last 30 seconds of any of that commercial you see that we laugh and snicker about, because this is an all-natural treatment with the exception of the low-dose synthetic that we put in there at a microscopic dose.
Well, and that is a big problem. People don't know what they want because they don't know what's available.
Yes, sir.
Right? And at the end of the day, sometimes when people understand what is available, and by the way, the pharmaceuticals have done a good job of letting consumers know what's available.
Yes.
They've done a great job of that. But it may not, that availability may not be what's appropriate for them. And I think that's what's caused all the backlash in a lot of ways from people saying, I'm tired of this, I'm tired of that, let's go all organic or let's not or whatever. And so it's finding that balance. And I think that's what you're saying you guys have worked out. As far as the opportunity for people to use this is available now nationwide, isn't it?
It is available nationwide, and we are rolling it out. So we're talking to physicians all across the country and working with different distribution points from that perspective. But we're also taking a very interesting approach. The approach being that we have the traditional, which we talk about physicians' offices, but, my passion is veterans and seniors. Through the foundation, we've done a lot of, we've created an exercise program for seniors we've been doing for 10 years in the city of Atlanta. That is my passion. And so being able to offer veterans these treatments in veteran centers, and I'm not talking about the VAs, I'm talking about in various veteran gatherings at churches, YMCAs, looking at working with the community, because this is such a big problem. We can take our medicine, if you would, on the road. It's a very safe therapy. And so the key here is how we can find ways to get this into the community. So there'll be churches, YMCAs, community centers, HUD facilities, country clubs, because people at country clubs also have pain. And the point of this thing is pain affects everybody. Republican, Democrat, independent, black, white, Hispanic, Native American. I mean, you go down the list. Pain is just pain. Addiction is just addiction. And our goal and our charge is to do our part. And we're excited to be partnering with you, because the other little part of this thing has to do with what we're doing with our partners that are our athletes. These guys, the Deons, the Bretts, the Ray Lewises, the Dale Davises, all of these guys and gals that we're bringing on are part of this mission. And so they will be in the community. And as revenue goes, that we're going to be engaging them to work in the community, and therefore that's going to create streams of revenue for them that also would need to be managed by somebody who's got a nice little program that make people's lives go a lot better with some discipline fiscally. And that's the reason why we're having these conversations with you.
It's a beautiful thing. And one of the things that we see is anytime there is a need, solutions arise. You want to make sure that you're in a place where the right solution arises. And I'd like to have you back on, though, at some point.
Absolutely.
We'll continue the conversation, provide more solutions, give updates on what's going on to our listeners. But, Jamie, thank you so much for taking some time and joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.